Hello, everybody, and welcome to a later than usual Roach Wiggle, April 25th, 2024. Just gonna check my little notes on what am I live in the right place? Yeah, I am. I don't know why it's not showing on the main thing. Let's see who's here in the chat here. We got a person. Eric Matthews liking the late stream. Otherwise, the stream is going on when I'm normally working or commuting, says Eric Matthews. Some discussion about Bladder orientalis. They're doing a booty dance twice. Something about feeding a roach to a tarantula and then it maybe doing courtship or something, maybe. Chains here. We got Duke and Enzo. Circa, Dynamo Terror, LC, Alan's here. Hello, everybody. It's been a very tiring week. I'm physically exhausted. I have, to add to all the things that are going on here, of course, when it rains, it pours. I have a big announcement. Nazi has entered her first heat cycle. Woo! So, get ready to hear Victor's kind of going crazy. It's going to be horrible 30-ish days, or I think it's not going to be that long, but to be safe, we gotta. I have no idea how long it could actually last for. So we got to keep them separated. She's not going to breed until she's at least 20 months old. It's her first cycle. We're not moved out, and it's happening. We don't have a place for her at Angela's yet, so she's staying here. So she's getting the garage. Victor gets the house, and I'm just kind of rotating them with access to outside every couple of hours. It could be worse if I wasn't already on a 3 times a day schedule for feeding the goats. Since they're still on bottles, they're going to be for another 2 months. So it's not that bad. It's just very restricting to my personal life, having to rotate dogs and do all the stuff on top of keeping on top of everything else that's here. So it's been very stressful. But she's a woman. She is a woman dog now. And we're going to see how that goes. It started 2 days ago. And so, yes, things are going to continue to be a bit crazy here. And I'm just going to keep saying that until we get moved out. It's just going to be crazy. Angela and I, we went wedding ring shopping today. That was nice. I just picked up something at Walmart. I like the look of this one, so I just got that. So that's out of the way. We had a nice day today. And then I got home and worked. A nice day just going to some places to look around and stuff for that. We got Braden, Zero Cool Ninja, Stephen Logan, Joseph Tavir. Hello, everybody, at this later stream. We've got more people here. I've been thinking for a while now about making the stream later in the day. That's been a thought, and maybe that would be a good thing to do going forward. We might bump it to the 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. time slot, maybe. I don't know. We're going to see again. The Roach Wiggles days are numbered until after the move, once we get a little bit more direction. Angela and I are going on Saturday out to the property, and we're going to get the big list of everything that needs to be done and approximately time frame. There is so much stuff that needs to be done that we want to get done this season. Hello, Hyperbeam. I think I already said hi to a person. People on the West Coast want to watch after work. Hello, Braden, as well. I finished everybody's, I think, second contact and payment confirmation emails for the auction. A couple people need to square up still. A couple people haven't gotten back to me at all. Do a little bit of a grace period. And, then we will start dropping the band hammer here and there on some people. But hello, Tennyson. Mostly great. Done crossing. So we Saturday, we got to go look at the property. Tomorrow night, I should be getting estimated ship dates to everybody who has paid so far. It's going to be crazy, as it always is. I'm looking forward to the summer when I don't have this stuff to ship out. Blacklisted, it grows. There's about one person every auction. That's not too bad. Linear growth is, it's kind of expected. But Saturday is going to be a big day. Angela has to sit and listen to me talk about everything that needs to be done and drive up our blood pressures. Do you still no, Duke and Enzo, the Iggy's, you're good. I think I have everything from everybody so far. It's just now I have to, I got to go through my list of payment confirms and figure out a shipping schedule based on the weather, which isn't as big of a deal now. But the weather, this is whether or not things are hitting critical points in their lifespans. I don't want another Rainbow Stag situation like happened last spring, where I think Rainbow Stag shipped like 3 or 4 months after the auction because it took them that long to go from pre-pupil to adults. So all that stuff that's going in the background. Chris has been working on the website some more. It's looking really good. As I said, I go out of focus. Website's looking really good. I'm very excited how that's going to go. Again, it's just going to be a Thanos finger snap, and things will change at some point. Preview. I could possibly post a preview in the Discord. With that kept in mind, again, keeping everybody's expectations. It is the roughest of rough drafts, and I'm going to make that abundantly clear because Chris warned me about that. You tell people that it's a rough, extremely rough draft, and you'll get a billion people commenting that, oh, well, I thought that you were going to do this on it. It's like, it's not done yet. Crap. See, there's a couple fields that need to be edited in and out of here. The spacing needs to be worked on. Chris, I just noticed you did the nav bar. I didn't notice that before. That's great. Here we go. All right, I'm going to post one in the auction Discord. I'm just going to put this here and say this is an extremely rough draft of the new Roach crossing. So it is posted in the server for everybody. Just get a quick eyeful again, just to give you something to look at and think about. With the beauty of this being that it is all Chris is running scripts and blah blah blah. That will make it so that this is auto updated off of an Excel sheet from my computer. So that's the beauty of it. That all this data can be edited on an Excel file, and then just with clicks of a button or even automatically will be updated to the website. So there you have it, guys. Your first sneak peek at New Roach Crossing. Again, when you go to the first couple pages, people are going to look at it and probably be like, "What's the difference? I don't see a difference." You're going to have to go in and use the search function, and then actually go into the species pages to see just how much is there. So, but it's adding more pages, and some of that stuff is on the back burner until the auction gets under thumb, and then the next thing is going to be updating all the flavor text and getting pictures coordinated. The latter is going to be, that's kind of a bigger thing to have to do, because I have to go through the photos, and I have to get some extra photos of some things, of enclosures and blah, blah, blah. And obviously all hell's going to break loose during the move. That's going to just, everything's out the window. Again, we're going to lose the wiggle for a bit. We will be back though. Whenever the wiggle goes on hiatus in the next couple months, the next one should be taking place in the Roach Crossing building. It should be taking place inside the actual building. So let's see the catch up here. That's right. You're leaving for an extended trip in mid-May. I think we were going to try and get yours out sooner than later. I think I've made a note of that. I will. I'm going to actually go in here and make note, double extra note of that here, because that is an important, super important thing I need to get on this actual sheet. All right, should bump that up a priority bracket with what I just did. So I think there's a good chance that that's going to go out as soon as possible, Duke and Enzo. So Behijitcher says hi. Got quite a few people, and 31 people here. That's phenomenal. Thank you, everybody, for maybe this is the future we need. We need to do an evening wiggle from now on. Maybe that'll be a change I'll make after all this stuff happens, guys. My life is absolutely crazy right now. Everything that's going on, I can barely wrap my head around it, and it's just going to get nuttier over the summer. And I'm really hoping that everybody and everything survives this craziness. Thank you for saying everybody remember to like. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm not sure when the last time I published a build. I'm sure it didn't have today's work in it. Today's work, Chris actively worked on it today. Thank you. Quite a few people commenting on it. Again, it's as rough as it can be. I'm gonna keep pestering Chris and be like, can you instead of centering that name text, can you actually align it to the left? And actually also, can you put it further up on the page? Can you not have it floating in the middle there? Can you do that? So there's a bunch of little things I'm going to annoy Chris about. But the thing is, that's very minor tweaks. The most important thing was getting the info automatically updated onto the page. Everything else is just Chris playing with formatting and all this other stuff is the thing there, and getting that right. And that's just for the roaches. All the other bugs are going to have similar pages to that, with going to have less intensive information. Still going to be a lot of information, more than you would find on pretty much any other website, but it's going to be less intensive than the roaches, where you've got all these little micromanaged statistics about growth and preferences and stuff like that. A person asked where the banner photo was taken. That is from Cave Creek Canyon in Arizona, in Portal, Arizona. That's from down in the Sunny Flats campground. It's one of my favorite places on this planet. It's beautiful. Everybody should make an effort to go to the Chiricahuas. They are a natural wonder that is not talked about enough. It's an absolutely beautiful place, the Chiricahua Mountains. It's phenomenal. And yeah, Stephen, no hentai background, not yet. I'm really hoping we can coincide it so that, for the new Roach Crossing launches before the building's ready, I might get a picture of the site, the building site, before the building goes up there, and then when it's finally there, get the picture afterwards. But maybe some people will be upset because we're gonna have to clear quite a few trees in that area. But I hope you guys can forgive me for all the other native landscaping I'm going to do on that property, and gutting the back pasture of all its autumn olive and invasive bromes, and completely replanting it with native prairie stuff. I hope you can find it in your hearts to forgive me for doing that. So, a person says, gotta go actually make the background work in a completely different way 99% of the way through. I'm sure it'll end up being a net positive. So do I. I think it'll be good all around. That area already has so much wildlife. I mean, when I was there with my parents last weekend, the weekend before, I can't even remember. Time is older. People over 30 or in their 40s, can you please tell me, is my perception of time where days just vanish and weeks just vanish, is that just getting older, or have I been drinking too much caffeine and I really need to slow my life down? I really need a genuine answer there. I will come to accept it if this is just how my perception is going to be. Yes, Eric Matthews says yes. Might be COVID. That's funny. Yes, both. Okay, so I'm drinking too much caffeine, and also the older you get, just the lightning fast perception of the speed of time goes. Because also, the last thing, I'm 35, and yes, I'm 51. Days are rolling by like telephone poles at 75 miles per hour. Well, it'll be nice to watch trees grow in fast speed. It's that'll be kind of nice. I'm looking forward to that. Routine compresses memory of time. That is an important thing to so when you say compresses memory of time, so when you're on a routine, time flies faster? Is it seems like it flies faster? Getting older each year is a smaller percentage of your life, so it seems to go faster. Um, Circa, I have COVID. It's the opposite. I haven't had days this long. Because I remember last year I had some very long days in April, but it was breaking up the routine. It was when I was sick last spring. I don't think it was COVID. Might have been COVID. I can't remember. No, I got COVID during the summer. In the spring, I got just rhinovirus or something. The longest days I can remember was when I was sick with rhinovirus, and it was after the auction, and I couldn't work because I was so just completely run down, and I laid on the couch all day and read some manga, and that was like the slowest I remember time passing in a long time. And then there was another time that time passed really slowly. Oh, I had a day where Angela and I went and did a bunch of stuff. We went to see her sister, and I think I went over to her place first. I went to see her sister, and then we went to the mall and met up with a friend, and yeah. So breaking the routine, that's going to be very important. I'm going to have to make sure to break my routines at least once or twice a week. The weekend, I suppose, so that I don't wake up and I'm 70. Although that wouldn't be so bad. I don't think I'm going to be in bad shape at 70, all things willing. Changing up routines helps. Sometimes memory of it is faster. Speed is relative. That's why I was going 90 miles per hour at a 25 mile per hour zone, officer. I prefer slow time to time flying by. And I think my birthday was kind of slower, too. It's a get together year and a half ago that was everything felt like it was pretty routine breaks again. So anyways, that's how things going. So maybe things are going to maybe slow down for me in the head during the move and then speed up again after that. But we got a lot of stuff going on. You'll make a routine of breaking your routine every weekend, I presume. Yes, we are really hoping by the time that we have kids that we can really set Sundays aside to not do anything. We really want to be able to afford the luxury of not having anything to do on Sundays, not feeling like we have to do extra work, not feeling like we have to be somewhere or do something. We would really like to make sure that every Sunday we wake up with pretty much no plans. We're really working for that, and that's why I work myself ragged as often as I do. Also, hello, Burb. I don't think I said hello to Burb. Hello, Burb. Eric Matthews laughing at our hope of peaceful Sundays. That being said, we're well aware we're never going to be able. You can't just stop doing things to keep yourself alive, but you don't. Everything right now is just go, 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 just constantly. There's no. You can't even. You can't really even schedule time to relax right now. Everything is just so nuts. But something that Angela is very good at, and I very much so appreciate for her for being a type B, is she is great at pulling me out of the workaholic headspace where I work myself ragged, I get run down, I feel like I'm getting behind, and I feel bad about it. She is amazing at saying, just take a little time, just watch this with me, just, let's just cuddle or something for a bit, let's just relax, for our health, etc. And it really helps because, yeah, sometimes I need to just be like held down and restrained. Otherwise, I just work myself to death. So everybody schedules fun stuff on Sundays around here, Little League, etc. Yeah, that's the goal, is to do that. We would really like to, we really want to kindle and encourage relationships with the people we care about, because whether it's just getting older or it's the way the world is now, everybody's just getting flung apart. We would like to have the house be a place where we can have people over on Sundays. We can cook. We can have stuff available for people. And when we have kids, everybody in our social group can bring their kids over and we can spend time together like that. So we're really working for that. Duke and Enzo says, my puppies do that for me. Taking them out every 3 hours for 10 to 30 minutes walks helps clear my mind so much. Yeah, just going out with the animals is nice. Even if I have to go out 3 times a day to feed the goats, it's still nice to sit there and play with them and see the dogs and all that stuff. So Elsie says, back to bug stuff. I was looking in some burrows for Innovaga and found some silverfish. I have never seen them before. Could I send you a pic? A few look like Thermobia domestica. Yes, they're probably Leucolapisma arenaria, which I do need a restart of. So, whatever they are, they're probably a good find. I got the hiccups. Great. So, anyways, everybody, yes, we have that picture of the of Roach crossing up there, and actually, Chris, I should get you the list of future pages. I could probably just write it out here, just while it's on my mind, and while we're talking to you, so everybody else can see it too. It's there's nothing secret or cryptic about any of this stuff. Here, this is there's where is it? Where is it on my desktop? It's a Florida trip 2024 that got canceled document. Where is it? I still have to give people some estimates for the snakes, which I don't think I have the names of everybody who claims snakes. I need to get those. Actually, it's something that's very important. I need, not like the snake scare; they just keep eating and getting bigger here. But where is probably my website overhaul folder? Sort categories, overhaul pages. All right, I'm gonna just start typing these in here, Chris. You can reference this here. Sunday could goat barbecue day. Could be. Is that what you're trying to say? A lot of people here talking about the goats. We have a question about Gammaretetics, which sounds like something I've never heard of, but let's see what this genus is. What the heck is that? I have no idea of care. I had no idea these even existed up until now. Of course, it's a California thing, of course. They're in the camel cricket family, but their morphologies looks like it's a lot like Atlanticus predatory katydids. So I would think that these guys probably have similar care to Taphiliska. I would think that they probably have very similar care to Taphiliska. And if somebody is catching them or offering them, let me know. That's something I think I would like to get. Would really like to get those and give them a try with Taphiliska care. I bet it's almost identical to Taphiliska. Kyle, do you happen to have a culture of Tricolidium fluffy Corfu isopod? I've never even heard of those either. Looks like that's a new kid on the block here for things. So something that will find its way to me at some point. I would hope, certainly hope. I never actually figured out if you kept snakes yourself, and maybe mention it. I kept a lot of snakes before. I had to get rid of them all during 2018, 2019. I'm back to keeping snakes again. I have some hog noses, locality hog noses, Asclepians from Kim, OKT corns from Kim, some egg-eating snakes, a boa imperator. I'm supposed to get a sack of ball pythons from Outback from their wild-caught stuff. That's supposed to happen pretty soon. I was keeping those blackhead snakes, Tantilla from Arizona. I had them set up what I thought was perfectly. They had an enclosure with all kinds of Lithobius in them. They were eating them, and then I overwintered them in the cold room, and then I warmed them up, and they just didn't do anything more. I wonder if it was maybe they wanted to drink water. I didn't give them a water bowl. Maybe I should have. But they had all the leaf litter. They had all kinds of food, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I did wrong, and it makes me hesitant to try them again. But maybe something I would introduce to the greenhouse in the future. Actually, one of the older kids on the block says a person. I didn't know, have those been around for a while? A Google search doesn't seem to show much, but what eats snake poop? Nothing I have like it. I have gophers and kings. Roaches, I used to, when I had bioactives at my parents with kings and with snakes in them. Hemiblabra did pretty good. Versatria did pretty good. Pycnoscelis should do pretty good. Trichorhina should be pretty good at high densities. Does anybody know how to spell capsulistica? Tafiliska. I'll write that out here. Tafiliska eleuthera. I would think they have identical care to those, which I keep here and have been breeding for, I think, 3 or 4 generations now. But, before I forget, I'm going to type out the future website pages just so everybody gets an idea of what the main pages, the main things are going to be on Roach Crossing. And also this gives Chris an opportunity to see them and maybe even add them to the test site nav bar. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to grab them. We got home. We got terms, conditions, and definitions. Very important that all those are there. Maybe it could just be terms and conditions. I think definitions tells people that there's more info there than just terms and conditions. But where's the next page? Terms and conditions, definitions, blah, blah, blah. That's a big page. For sale categories. Oh, just for sale. For sale. Let's see. Got a lot of stuff there. Order/contact me is one page. Go through all these other documents open with everybody's auction stuff on them and hope that I don't accidentally edit something and close it out. It's a very deep personal fear of mine. Care guides. Again, really trimming the fat with this stuff. About me. This is also the order I'd like them to be in, I think, unless somebody has strong opinions to the contrary. About me. Bounties. Definitely want a bounties page to be up there so people can see stuff that they may have and trade in. I do like the idea of that being a very well trafficked and eyeballed page. And then finally, social media, where the future Instagram and whatever YouTube, whatever else is going to go on that page specifically. I think this is mostly for search engine optimization or something. All right, so that's the future categories for Roach Crossing for everybody just to look at and also for Chris's reference. A person says, I talked to Benny about the trichodilidium a while back. He said something about them never really catching on despite being around for years. Pretty sure they only made it to the U.S. once. Nobody has a culture left. Kyle, I've recently heard that some people are labeling Cubaris species Miyako as Venezillo. That would be something to talk to Tennyson about. My main isopod taxonomy hookups are Tennyson and Nate. And so I go to then TJ Allen and I talk about stuff here and there as well. So nobody has trichodilidium anymore. Again, maybe people didn't realize they were fluffy or something. Well, again, we'll wait for Tennyson to weigh in on stuff. Circa asked about the care for Tafiliska. We'll take a look at the enclosure really quick here. This is your basic Tafiliska enclosure. Gets watered maybe like once a week-ish during the winter. Should be more. Sometimes I do more. Couple like 2 inches of sandy coconut coir substrate. Kept back half moist, front half dry, kind of more on the all moist at the moment. Some cork bark for boring into. The other one and hiding under The other enclosure has some pine cones. They like pine cones too. I don't know why I didn't put pine cones in here. A fruit jelly and fish flakes for food, and room temperature here. This is the general setup. There's the watering port, and this has worked for multiple generations of Taphiliska, who will catch on when they are added to the website eventually. Let me go ahead and put this over here. But fascinating. I had no idea that there were arboreal cave crickets. I guess they're not really cave crickets then. But you had mentioned people. Yes, the donate thing. I think that's going on the About Us or on the terms, conditions, etc. page. I think that's where that's been scheduled to go into. Again, really trimming the fat. Some pages are going to be more filled out than others, but just to make it a bit easier. The real meat and potatoes is in the species profiles, is where I really want that to be. Somebody said, not a fan of Smugbug. How I don't keep in the loop on social media. Dynamo Terror says, I've had the idea for a while of breeding and releasing rare, basically anything non-paramiscus rodents of central Alabama. Do you have any experience with things like voles or Raythrodontomus? I bred Santa Rosa beach mice for a while. That's about it. And I think they really like insect protein. Was my takeaway. Is it became a blessing to have insect protein on hand for them. They seem to do the best when offered that. And if I can ever get them again, and I'm working on it, and I have a contact who's breeding them currently, I will work with them again. I like the Santa Rosas. No cross ventilation. I mean, it's all top ventilation from the sides. That port is just a little brass port for watering. It doesn't really serve a ventilated purpose, but the top ventilation is good enough. Yes, as Eric Matthews says, their watering port. A person says, Gamerotetics lived with my wild harvestman and slaughtered them when they molted. Yeah, I would think Taphiliska would just crickets, Raphidiophoridie, and Grylidae are just absolutely vicious, monstrous creatures for the most part in terms of slaughtering other things with them. Just in general, some Nemobiinae I keep with some other things, and smaller crickets are okay. But I could see Pseudophilus and their relatives being quite vicious in different contexts. Probably got to feed mine a bunch more protein than, or even just dog food. Again, circa, I would try bumping the ventilation, but be careful of the humidity too. I don't know what sort of moisture dry forest they come from. No top vents, but a ton of cross. I did more cross ventilation in the past. You can make it work with some stuff. I do all top now because it's what's worked for me. It's what's really worked for me with my schedule of keeping and my style of upkeep on things. Definitely the top ventilation was better. Have you seen either Fallout or Shogun? Two great new. My friend, one of my friends, has been talking about the Fallout series being really good, and I do when I don't have time for watching new series. I'm picky with stuff. Angel and I just got done watching in between stuff Hell of a Boss. I've been enjoying that. I can be a little bit picky with things, and I also you got to fight the urge to binge is another problem. Unless I can binge on the job, I binge all kinds of stuff while I'm working with bugs, like all kinds of analyses on YouTube about this and that and the other thing. So you can't stack boxes with top ventilation. That's the other thing. You can't stop glass tanks with top ventilation, but there's enough top ventilation on these faunariums that you can stack them and still get basically the full top ventilation effect, which is another reason why I like them, why I have so many of them, why I have so freaking many of them. Maybe watching it with your mate. Yeah, again, there's currently we've been watching again in at night before we go to bed. she likes to watch Teen Mom when she's just doing stuff around the house here. She'll put it on the TV, and before we go to bed, we watch an Intervention. That's been a pretty good show. A lot of emotional ups and downs in that show. So we kind of settled into some things now. But what are those bins actually? They don't look like Critter Keepers. They are just a different model of Critter Keeper by a different company. They're called faunariums. They come in a couple of different sizes, and I pray that they never stop manufacturing them because I would be so screwed. At least Critter Keepers have been around for like decades at this point, but I do use those. I do use Critter Keepers for isopods. I do use faunariums for isopods too. It's just more the Critter Keepers are. The lids are a little more annoying to work with, and the plastic's a lower quality than the faunariums. But the faunariums are a little bit more durable. The plastic's a bit easier to work with for the ports, and the lid's a bit easier to get off than the Critter Keepers are. It doesn't seem to sacrifice the containment aspect qualities of the lid, but it's not as good of a full click down. It's almost kind of difficult to put the underlays on the Critter Keepers for the first time. Kyle's probably keeping them in business. Yeah, honestly. I get the Critter Keepers in bulk. The faunariums I get not really in bulk. I'm working on it, but a lot of those companies are, unless you have a brick and mortar store, they are very hesitant to sell you things at bulk pricing. So maybe once the Roach building is made, I can get them at bulk pricing, which would be great. And then I can sell them too with the ports put on and with the underlays. Anybody can do it themselves, but Eric Matthews says, got to get some details on your enclosure setup. Maybe a video of the just regular faunariums, Eric. Pretty Pink Pansy. Hello, you're new here for sure. Welcome to the Roach Wiggle. Do you still own Sexy Legs Roaches? I'm charmed by them due to their wonderful name. Would love to know more about them. Yes, I have 2 localities, debatably 4, of Ischnoptera derapeltiformis. They've been doing very well for me the last couple of years after kind of years of floundering around with them. I actually have to redo both the enclosures. It's on my to-do list for tomorrow. I got to drop off some auction orders. I might have a wholesale order I have to whip up in the morning. I got to do all my farm chores outside, rotate the dogs, feed the goats, go to the fruit store and pick up produce because I have another round of big husbandry coming up. How many years until those small neon? Braden, I just Pretty Pink Pansy says, new long-time lurker, first-time caller. Again, thank you for showing up and finally speaking up as well. How many years until those small neonemopes? I separated them to breed them in their own enclosure a couple months ago, and they're not taking. They want to be in with the hissers, but funny other story is I collected another Nemo Beanie from Auburn when we were there in the winter. I caught a male and a female, and just on a whim, it was January and there were crickets still out and calling, and so I caught them, and they were not common there either. They're just slim pickings for them at that time of year. But I caught them anyways, and I brought them home, and I just tossed them into some sort of hissing roach setup that didn't have any really like other cleanup crew or inhabitant crew with it. And they bred, and I've got a fresh batch of adults. I have no idea what species it is, but it's something southern. And so now it's funny because now I have both of these going in with they're breeding in with other things, but I can't get them to go by themselves. So they're actually smaller than that Neonemobius that's been forever perpetuating from Michigan. They're maybe 3/4 the size, maybe even just half the size. They're quite small. Sexier than Americana for which species of sexier than what? I got read the comments disjointed there. No wonder you need an employee. Yes, that's going to be a whole other whole other can of roaches to open up. But I'm hoping, kind of like with being in this house, where the first couple of years were just a nightmare figuring out how to do things, when to do things, what needs to be done, how to take care of the house, how to take care of myself, keep my life together. All that within the last 2 years, 2, 3 years, has just kind of become background noise. I don't fret about it. I don't worry about it anymore. At least not with the intensity I used to. It just, everything kind of settled into where it is. And I'm really hoping once we move, there's going to be more space for stuff. There's going to be more room to work, more room to stock things, more room to breed things. That we're just going to settle into, the background noise that is so loud right now while we're trying to sandwich our lives together. Angela and I, is just going to sort of fade into the background, and we'll be able to enjoy things a bit better, is the hope. It's going to take a lot of work. It's already a lot of work. It's going to take a lot more work. Jane says, I'm not the best at roach identification. I wish I would have caught it. While mushroom hunting on the Mississippi, I found a roach with the same coloration as the sexy leg roach. It was probably the same. Yeah, they range pretty far west and surprisingly far north too, for a mostly tropical genus of roaches. So I would not doubt that it was Schnoptera derapeltiformis. It could always be something new. It's always nice to could have been Parkablatta, but Schnoptera and Parkablatta are very similar, especially just the nymphs. So it could have been either, Pretty Pink Pansy says, would love to see some brief videos of your various roach varieties just chilling out, maybe feeding somebody that aren't well documented. I am working on it. The goal now, as said before, and as I've been saying for a while, is get out of this house. I gotta get moved before I can really go all in with stuff and hit the potential I think that roaches or roach crossing by extension has. But I need to get out of this house. I am at my limits for where I can store things, where I can move things to, where I can maneuver around things, all this stuff. It's just the bubble needs to pop. We need to get out of here, and we are working on it. And again, Saturday is going to be a big day. We're getting direction for things. We're going to figure out the game plan and determine what needs to be done and where. So, are there any roaches in Oklahoma that you recommend I search for? Kyle says Duke and Enzo the Iggy's. Yes. There's some Parkablatta there that would be kind of nifty. There's Pseudomops there that I already have that would be nifty for you to just, for you to keep for yourself. There's probably Aranavega in Oklahoma too. That would be something I would be interested in, and something you may need to be in the right place for. Go poking around on iNaturals to see any records for Aranavega out there. Pretty Pink Pansy says, I'm excited for you. I hope you can get out soon. We are working on it. We got some legal stuff we got to figure out and get sorted, and we got to get the building built. And again, the dominoes are just starting to fall over. We've been in kind of a holding pattern, and we've got more direction now. And Saturday's going to put us on even more of a straight shot to where we need to be. A person says, speaking of catching roaches, Liridablata season is nearly upon us in my area. You know how to contact me, a person, when Liridablata season goes full swing. You know how to find me, and they are high on my want list. LC says, any little tips on Dynastes tedious? First tip is they're easy. The second tip is the hard thing about them is getting them to pupate. It's the stopgap for so many beetles, in my experience, is pupation. And with Dynastes, they don't want to pupate in their substrate if there's a bunch of poop. They don't want to. They don't want to pupate in poopy substrate. They want basically sawdust that they can make their cell out of, and they don't need a lot of space to do that either. You can get them to pupate in I keep messing this up, and I've been messing it up for years. I think it's a 32-ounce deli cup. They will pupate in a 32-ounce deli cup if you pack the sawdust, etc. in there. The thing is, when you don't have a lot of space for them and you're rearing the larvae and then you want to move the larvae to pupate, you got to have an eye for, okay, these larvae are turning yellowish. They're looking to pupate. I need to move them to the pupation setup. It's not necessarily a time-sensitive thing, but it's just something you have to look for, and a lot of losses will occur in the pupal stage too if you're going to have them. Temperature-wise, they're pretty easy. Housing the adults and getting them to breed and lay eggs is pretty easy. It's just very space and resource intensive. I was doing it in far too small of enclosures before I was brought up to speed that I should really be doing it in 10 gallons minimum for one female Dynastes tityus for ovipositing. And so I have changed to that and getting good results. So that's my generalized tips for them. They're pretty good. I wouldn't necessarily say a starter beetle, only because you're going to be waiting at least a year and a half to get your baby larva all the way to an adult, and that's a big time commitment for a bug just in general to just get one to adulthood. It's not like a roach colony where you could have entire dynasties, but not dynasties. Dynasties rise and fall in that same amount of time. Shane says, really, I'll have to see if my buddy wants to go out on the boat again soon. If anything, there are some oversized parcoblata along some of the islands. Yes, island populations of parcoblata would be nifty. I would love to acquire some island bugs. Alan has been keeping an eye out for interesting localities of bugs and recently acquired some Lepisma and Porcellio scaber from Cumming, Georgia. And so those are definitely joining the ranks of my collection for obvious reasons. Lizard Bean says, "Woo, I made it since you are doing it later." Good to have you, Lizard Beans. Yeah, again, we did this later, but it's really looking like the future of the Wiggle is going to be starting at probably 8 or 9 p.m., but I'm not going to change that until after the move. Everybody can enjoy their current schedules and whatnot. Double Z says, "Hey Kyle, have you kept any Megasoma sleeperi? I was supposed to get sleeperi last year from a person who really wants to get them in my hands, but there were no Megasoma sleeperi to be found last year. It was a bad year for them apparently. So that person is still looking, still is, we're on the hook for each other for a pair. So it's going to happen. It's just a matter of getting them wild caught a pair for me and whatnot." A person says they'll go in the banana slug box. Yes, that's what I like to hear, the Liridablata combo boxes. Circus says, "How are your Testicella going?" One of them I can't find, so that does not bode well. But the other one is growing, and I think it's eating mostly earthworms, which is very nice. So I think it's about twice the size as it was when I got it. But the other one I can't find. It might have burrowed into the substrate material. So I'll do a more thorough check tomorrow when I go through. Everything in this room is getting fed and watered tomorrow. Duke and Enzo says, "You keep any aquatic ice pods? If so, you ever plan on selling them?" I don't keep them currently. I plan on keeping them. I do have aquatic amphipods. I did sell some at the auction, and I hope to make more of those available in the future, is the shortest answer I can give for that. Eric Matthews said, "Should be a Roachy Man Go game app to locate all these bugs." Yeah, it's basically what iNat is, basically. A person says, "I'm going to try and visit the Channel Islands this year since the Japan visit got delayed." Maybe get me some rabbits or goats from those Channel Islands if you go to them and they got them on them still. So you says, "Yeah, they're burrs. I think it's actually good to not find them." Yeah, I found the first one. There was no sign of like something having died and not being eaten in the enclosure. So we're just trying them out and seeing if it's viable to keep them currently, especially with my current schedule and whatnot. So a person says, "How do I kidnap a goat from an island?" Very carefully. Very carefully is the answer. Gosh, those things are so good. I do want to work with those San Marcos Islands or something goats one day. I'm good with my alpines. I like them. We'll see how their milk production and all that stuff is when they get to be of age. I don't think I'm going to go crazy with a billion different goat varieties. Again, I'm quite happy with what I have. But if I did get another goat, it would probably be those San Marcos Islands, the ones from one of the islands in California, which are apparently an at-risk breed in the U.S. People don't know this, but it's actually ridiculously difficult to bring goats into the United States. USDA APHIS is far more on top of that than they are on top of other things getting into the United States. But it is hyper illegal to even bring in goat semen. So basically, as I understand it, all the goats that are in the United States currently were imported before the 40s, I think. So everything that's in is what we have is what we've got, basically, barring some university getting some sort of crazy high level clearance or somebody smuggling a bag of goat semen in somehow. So I don't see that happening, though it might have already happened. But so there's only maybe like somewhere between like 10 and 20 breeds of goat in the United States, and unless somebody starts developing more, that's kind of all you got. My new job as a goat semen smuggler, as shaving cream. It worked in Jurassic Park. It could work again, right? Duke and Enzo the Iggy's asked, how difficult is it to keep slugs? What kind of specific requirements are necessary? They're all a little different. The easiest slug I found is the black velvet or black leatherleaf or black pancake slug. That's been the easiest. Feeding on dog food and prilled dolomite has been ridiculously easy for me, having figured that out. What's it? The common brown garden slug. What is that? Come on, brain. What is the name of common brown something brown garden slug? Slug, not snail, slug. I feel like such a small brain. Not garden snail. What is wrong with you, Google? I did not say snail anywhere. Slug. Is technology going backwards? What is the name of the thing? Not Ariel Max. What is it? Duroceras reticulatum. There we go. The gray garden slug. The reticulated, the gray field slug, the milky slug. That's also been an easy one to raise. I'm kind of waiting to find a mutant of those again. I found an albino one once and failed because I was dumb and young. So we're gonna try it again when I find another weird one. I'm gonna get a colony of those going. I've never bred diabolical ironclads double Z. Tips: you may want to give them a cooling period in the winter and then warm them up after that. It's my only tip for them. I'm not well versed in ironclads at all. Shane's been finding a lot of aquatic mites. Yeah, I remember when we did the programs at the pond at U of M, those would always pop up in good numbers in the spring and then disappear. Very seasonal, my experience. Zen Monkey recommending kidnapping the smallest of the island goats. I mean, those things might be really fast, though. Even if they're a couple days old, they could still be real fast. Duke and Enzo asking if slugs breed out of control. They're really tightly managed depending on their resources that they have. That just makes you a kidnapper. Hilarious lizard beans. You're literally a kidnapper. But yes, Duroceras was the genus. Duroceras reticulatum was the one. It's an excellent feeder slug for snakes, too, for a lot of things that eat slugs. But Hidger says, my female rhinoceros was pushing around the male for about an hour a couple days ago. I'm wondering if you've seen such behavior. Don't want to interrupt courting behavior by separating them. To be honest, I've never really watched my rhino roaches for all that long. I've always been kind of nervous about interrupting them. So they just hang out, and eventually in the spring every year I find babies, so I don't really think too much about it. But it might be courtship behavior. Maybe, I'm not sure. You asking what color of Durosaurus slugs I'm looking for. Again, that albino was pretty cool. It was literally a white body with red eyes, with like bright red eyes. So I wish I could find one of those again. Some of them are darker, some of them are lighter. I don't know what would be better for breeding for like a feeder strain of them. Thoughts on Peromyscus? Here, Victor. Angela probably threw him outside, and he's complaining because he can't get into the garage with Nazig. Peromyscus. Isn't that the genus the Santa Rosa beach mouse belongs to? Peromyscus. Yeah, Peromyscus. Yeah, you guys are reminding me I should message the Peromyscus, the Santa Rosa breeder, and do my pester that I do every couple of months. She had males the last time I saw her, but let's see. Any Santa Rosa news? Question mark. Just throw that out there. So just pick up the goat eggs. Speaking the true logical person here. Still the island goat semen. That might be a bit messy of a job for something that you can do kind of legally too. Like it's legal to take the goats from places. Maybe some of the islands have historical populations that are protected, but I'm pretty sure California wants them all off of those islands because of the ecological alterations they've done. Also asking about care for Derapeltis pollinoi. I've kept them moist. I've kept them dry. I have a full top ventilation culture here that's doing fine. I have a lower ventilation set up in the basement that's doing just fine. They don't really eat that much, I've noticed, under certain conditions. They seem to be a species that's inclined to crash pretty hard sometimes if they run out of food or if conditions get bad. It can be kind of hard to pull them out of the spiral. But, when they do well, they do really well. And my advice there is to kind of split the colony a bit when you see that upswing. Set them up like you set up the original colony you had them in when you had the success on the colony. So, also, neither of the island chains seem to have goats. That's unfortunate. Channel Islands, that's California, right? I'm not mixing up my islands, right? I could be. Anthony Green stopping by. Welcome, Anthony, at this later than usual stream. How does one take bugs home on a plane? I think you just check the luggage, and the airlines usually don't have a problem with it. Industry secret. Very carefully, lizard beans. I've flown with bugs before. In carry-on luggage back in 2012 or 2013, it didn't cause any problems. I think somebody here in the chat might have experience with doing it legally again. I got to think who it might be. Private Jet is how. Apparently they were literally eradicated from the Catalina Islands. Channel Islands is California. Okay, so they have been formally wiped out from those islands. So I think it is the Catalina Island goats. Let me just do a quick look. Island goat for sale. Catalina goats. San Clemente Island Goat Breeders Association. That was it. San Clemente Island Goat. San Clemente Island Goat. So there's a whole breeders association for them. So that's wonderful. You can hunt Catalina goats somewhere. I don't know what that means. I think I looked at the wrong thing. They're as active as 9 hours ago. Fascinating. I'm looking at some of the color descriptions. They got a couple of colors in the goats. I like the fact that they look very much so like wild goats too. That's also part of the draw to the Alpines. But yeah, it looks like they're not hurting too bad, and that maybe in a couple of years I could look into acquiring some for the farm, and we'll see. We will see. But that's the only other breed I have interest in working with or making my own somehow. But Carolina had a bunch of invasive ones. Yeah, I think that's they shipped off. They had a cull. They shipped some of them off to rescues. They shipped some of them off to private breeders. So Braden flew with some live bugs from Florida to Utah, and TSA was confused at first, but then said it was fine eventually last year. Yeah, they're not really too concerned about bugs from an airline's perspective. Reminds you of the unique island pigs in Georgia that Georgia was obsessed with. Yeah, I share that with the Carolina dingoes. That's another dog I'm going to work with eventually. I would really like to work with Carolina dingoes. It will happen eventually. So, have you kept any Fannius Vindex? Yes, and I have a friend who bred them on guinea pig poop, but they need poop to breed. So just be aware of that. You're working with an animal that needs poop constantly. Quality poop, too. Ideally, omnivore poop, such as human poop. But guinea pig poop will work as well. Do you have tortoises on your farm? No. I have a box turtle, and I might get a couple more ornate box turtles, but I have minimal interest in working with testudines. Maybe a couple other quirky things I'm tempted by, but it's so much effort. They're not good pets for the average person. It's just not something that really tickles me too much. Gonna check in 10 years from now and find you a Pyrenean ibex. I swear, they're legal in Michigan. Michigan gets a lot of crap about its exotic animal laws, but it's really not that bad. The laws basically say you can't have like large predatory animals, and they go out of their way to say no lions, no tigers, no bears, no wolves. Like they have a very finite list of things you can't have, but then they don't really exclude. You could have rhinos in Michigan if you really wanted to. If you want to put a southern white rhinoceros out in your pasture in Michigan, you are as far as I saw with the DNR and whatnot. You are fine to do that. You are just subject to local ordinances on animal ownership, which is a problem wherever you live. Really, Circa has a constant source of poop. That's funny. Throwing away your dignity to breed cool dung beetles. Chicken poop. I will be putting a bounty out for pretty soon for some Canthon imitator. So if anybody finds Canthon imitator, I would like a couple, like 100 or so or more, possibly. I don't know if chicken poop will work. I'm not sure if chicken poop will work. Duganensis said, I think the main draw to Taurus is the lifelong friend you get. Make a human friend. Make a human friend. If you're that desperate for a lifelong companion, get a parrot where it will be more bonded to you. I like tortoises. I like those big. What island are those from in the Indian Ocean? Is it Aldabras? I like the Aldabra tortoises. We'll never have them. I love the idea of them. They're really cool. I like the giant tortoises. It's so cool that we still have those on this planet, that they were not, climate changed in the 5,000 years ago, or human hunted, or a billion other things that happened. So I'm glad that we still have some of them. And that's nice. That Aldabra man guy in Florida, I don't know if he's still alive or around. I like that guy. Neighborhood ordinances don't like cockroaches crowing. Hilarious. Galapagos too. But I don't know if you can own Galapagos tortoises in the U.S. You can buy Aldabra giant tortoises. You can just buy one. They're like, you can just have it. Aldabra giant tortoise for sale on Morph Market. You can just go on Morph Market and you can just buy an Aldabra. You can just buy them. You can buy a subadult. In fact, you can buy one. You can buy now, pay in 30 days in easy payments and free returns. You can buy an Aldabra tortoise for $8,000. You can do it right now. You can buy Pebbles, the Aldabra tortoise, sexed female, for 14 grand if you want. You can do all of that if you want to. You can buy it right now. It can be shipped to your door. Let me look up if those are the largest tortoise in the world. I think they're beaten out by the Galapagos a bit. One of the world's largest land tortoises. Blah, blah, blah. Carapace, high dome shell. Maybe the Galapagos are the largest in the world, but the Aldabra is the tortoise. Is the largest tortoise in the world, supposedly. Giant tortoise species. We're going down a rabbit hole, everybody. I do need to end the stream pretty soon, but I want to look this up. Galapagos giant tortoises. I guess it's just the Aldabras and the Galapagos now. There's not much else in that giant group. There were... Yeah, that seems to be it. The Aldabras and the Galapagos. So still a little sad. Geez, they really got screwed, didn't they? A couple other species in the Seychelles, subspecies rather. Bunch of Galapagos giant tortoises. That's cool. And everything else is extinct. Okay, well, now I'm sad. I'm glad at least capitalism has saved the Aldabra tortoise, apparently. Matt Frazzoni. Kyle, hey, Kyle. First time on the stream. Big fan of your work and expertise in the community. Thank you, Matt, for joining us. Welcome to the Wiggle. Of course, at the end of things, unfortunately. But local pet store has an Aldabra for like $5,000. Yeah, like, there you go. Go buy your Aldabra giant tortoise. It can be yours. How do returns even work for life? I don't know how it would work for a $14,000 giant tortoise, honestly. Do you just... Somebody's got to get on a plane and take that thing somewhere else, really. Recreate the live harmless reptile photo with an Aldabra. Galapagos are slightly bigger, but it is really close. And Google said it was the Aldabras, but... Also, we don't know what the genetic potential of some of these things are. They're already pre-selected for gigantism. We don't know what a bunch of humans upbreeding the size will create over time or tease out of the genetics. Again, they probably were slaughtered and eaten, the biggest and tastiest ones or whatever, and we're left with the smaller ones that were still babies until they stopped hunting them and whatnot. So we have no idea what just a couple generations could produce in terms of giant tortoise size. Sulcata do get relatively large. I've seen some big sulcatas too. They're just not that big. They're just not Aldabra or Galapagos size. But again, you can just buy a Galapagos, or you can just buy an Aldabra tortoise. You can just buy one today if you want. So, all right, we've been all over the place. Dog heat, arboreal cave crickets, Roach crossing preview, giant tortoises. We've gone all over the place today. Goat semen, thank you for reminding me that was a very important talking point as well. But alas, I must wrap up the stream. Get to try and water the basement tonight. It's gonna be like an hour. Get to some work, or maybe throw in the towel and do it tomorrow. I don't know. Thank you for the compliment on the site preview. Chris has been working very hard behind the scenes, and I've been working not quite as equally hard to pester him about, put this there, do that here. Can you do this? I don't want that here. Duke and Enzo, bring that up next live stream if you're here. I want to hear about this Galapagos scandal at the OKC Zoo. I want to hear about that for sure. So, anyways, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. We'll be back to the regular time next week. We're going to think about moving things to later. But until then, I'll see all the auction people. Again, I'll be getting another round of emails out ASAP with final ship date estimations and blah, blah, blah. Until next week, until we contact each other again, may your cultures ever be bountiful, everybody, and have a restful evening. Restful night.